Hello my dear friends, I'm Anton and today we're going to go a very mysterious place. And that is the Mississippi River Delta. And what strange and interesting things have I found for you here? I'm going to show you. Let's take a look at the Mississippi Delta. You'll say, it's nothing special. What's there is to talk about and what's there to discuss? But the first thing that catches my eye is the swamps. Let's take a look from up here. And it's not just swamps. We see a huge network of canals. And I think it's artificial canals. They were in width and in length. There are a huge number of them here. They are illogical. Let's take a look. Have you ever seen nature create swamps like this? With such clear and slender lines. You know that river bed is always curved. And look how fantastic it looks. It's just unimaginable. See, the canal continues even after crossing with another canal. But why would people build canals like this? Some might say it's geological exploration. Okay, let's look at this exploration. Let's measure the length of one of the more interesting canals. I think this one will do. So, its length is 32 kilometers, approximately. 32 kilometers. And the width is about 70 meters. Oh, but wait a minute. It's actually a double canal. Have you ever seen a double canal dug for shipping? Is that to avoid an oncoming lane collision? What do skeptics have to say about that? Personally, I don't believe it was all built in modern times. It seems to me that it may be the remnants of some technological work of an ancient civilization that existed long before ours. Now, let's take a look at this piece of my misunderstanding. I couldn't call this place anything else. Why would ships even sail along such a strange grid of routes? One can understand the laying of canals in order to connect two important points of infrastructure. Like a bridge, for example, which is a transport artery connecting two cities. Let's see what I'm talking about. Okay. Here we see a 38 kilometers long bridge. And it makes perfect sense. But we do not see any meaningless grid of other bridges and roads, because it's illogical and requires enormous expenditures and manpower. Could it then be a huge grid to drain the area around Mississippi Delta? But it seems even more illogical to drain a river delta that is also located in the ocean. Or is it exploration after all? I don't know. Maybe you know, dear friends. Maybe you have some version of what you see. Now let's go over the specific places of interest that I was able to find for you. The first mark is called the Dry Canal. We can see that it was once a canal, but now there is no water in it, and we can see traces of the existence of this canal. We can also see it well from the outline of the trees that have grown. trees grow not only on dry canals, but also on water-filled ones. This fact just confirms the artificial origin of these canals, because their banks are formed by the soil, which was extracted during the formation of these canals. Okay, next. A mark called a strange way. Why do you think I called this mark a strange way? Look closely at this canal. You can see that barges are floating here. However, we can see a huge lake nearby, so why couldn't the ships sail across the lake? And why was it necessary to dig a canal with enormous labor costs? To waste time on this work, when you could just sail across the lake? Okay, let's say the lake wasn't deep enough, but then you can always stretch it, and it's much easier than digging a canal. I think it's only rational to swim that canal if it has been there for a long time. What do you think? Leave your opinion in the comments. The next tag is called a blind canal in a lake. What was the reason it was created here and why? Yes, very interesting route for the boat. Let's take a look from a high distance. And we can see here just a countless number of these canals. Please explain to me why. Maybe someone knows the real reason for their existence. Okay, let's continue. A tag called for ships. Dear skeptics, explain to me why this passageway is here. If it, of course, a passageway. What is the problem for ships to sail around this island? Or maybe there is some sort of reclamation? And what are they going to drain here? The world's ocean. The mark is used by ships too. We have a similar situation. Just cut through the island instead of just sailing around it. I don't understand. Next mark. Crossing canals underwater. Here we see canals crossing each other even underwater. And in the addition we can see how some canals are artificially blocked. And this was done very recently, dear friends. For what purpose? I don't know. Maybe so the ships don't get lost in the endless grid of these swamps. Okay. Circle. Notice this strange canal in the shape of an almost regular circle. Let's measure its radius at about 1 kilometer and 700 meters. Take a closer look. Again in an unimaginable variety of pattern, but I want to remind you that this is not just a map or drawing, and this is the real surface of our planet, scratched by someone and sometime. Let's see a photo of these channels. We can see that they really exist and were made quite a long time ago, that they were able to grow trees, and these trees are quite big. The mark of the reclamation canal. Why does it even exist here? Dear friends, skeptics, scientists, viewers, subscribers, maybe you can explain the purpose of these canals? What interesting things can be done in these swamps? And now, my favorite mark. The intersection of the canals on the square island. Sounds like a phrase from a madhouse. Let's look at this madness from all sides. And this rusty barge looks like a trash garbage can located here, so we can throw our guesses as to the cause of this phenomenon in there. And finally, the mark called Atlant. Just look at this canal. It's so huge that I associated it with the name of the strongest ancient Greek titan. Who or what can do this? Let's take a look at his greatness. Let's measure it. It's about 420 meters wide and about 35 kilometers long. Try to comprehend what you see and hear. Here we can see some interesting gates for ships to enter from this side, and how the guiding breakwater goes out to the sea to navigate the incoming ships. Now let's pick some section and look at these historical photos over a large area to see if these canals really have been there for a long period, or if it was done by people in the recent past. What do we see? And what we see is that they have existed unchanged since the high quality images from 1984. Finishing this video, I would like to show you something else very strange and interesting from my point of view, of course, although I think it has nothing to do with reality, although who knows what reality is. So, pushing the boundaries of our consciousness, a tech called a crashed UFO. You can see how the two light purple spherical objects are painted over by the editorial. Let's live through the historical photos. We see that in 2004 we have nothing, and in 2005 we have these strange objects with traces which may be the trajectory of their movement. Let's move on. In 2009 these objects were painted over, most likely so as not to cause unnecessary questions. Further, we can see the appearance of paths to these objects. Who knows? Maybe these needed wreckage is the reason for these canals? Again, this is just my imagination, of course. And now the second object, and we see a similar situation. In the beginning it was absent, however, as well as traces of it in 2009 it's seen very badly. In 2015, please pay attention. We see next to it strange traces of a perfectly round shape. Interesting, isn't it? Dear friends, what do you think about it? I'm very interested to know your opinion. Please write it in comments. And now you will understand that aliens, this is not the most interesting things yet. Well, let's continue. The place mark called the matrix has you, and what we see is that a huge passenger plane, which should be at an altitude of 10,000 meters, is flying almost over the swamp and casting a shadow in the form of a program failure in the matrix. Perhaps this anomaly zone is geopathogenic? I don't know. Of course, it's most likely a program bug. But in our life you always want something unusual, which in a moment can change your idea of what was before in your mind. Dear friends, I'm finishing this video and want to confess to you that it seems that I have figured out the possible true reason for this appearance of these canals, and I will certainly reveal it to you if it would be of real interest to you. Share this video, like and subscribe to the channel. See you later. There is still a lot of new and interesting things to come. Thank you for watching.